The region of Windsor-Essex will now be allowed to enter the next stage of reopening.
For 7 straight days last week, we've had less than 100 daily new cases of COVID-19 across Ontario. 30 out of 34 regions are reporting less than 5 new cases a day. And after consultation with the Chief Medical Officer of Health, I'm pleased to announce Windsor-Essex will enter Stage 3 this Wednesday at 12:01 a.m.
Now, most of the province moved into Stage 3 back in July, but Windsor-Essex was held back in Stage 2 because of a spike in cases among agricultural workers in the region. So how has that affected the region's recovery? I'm joined by Windsor's Mayor Drew Dilkens. He joins me via Skype from Windsor. Mayor Dilkens, welcome back to the show and welcome to Stage 3.
Thank you, David.
You've been waiting a while for this to get the green light to join the rest of the province. How did it feel when you finally got the news?
Well, the news is exciting. It's exciting for the residents here, but really exciting for the businesses as well who've been waiting. And I know many of them are just trying to survive, much less thrive in this difficult time. So it's good news for them. It's certainly a good sign that the community has done all that's been asked of them for the better part of 4 months. And the numbers indicate that. And we're ready to move to Stage 3, and we're excited about it.
You mentioned the business community right away. I'm just wondering how the extra weight has impacted the economy there.
Well, there's no doubt it's been tough, and thankfully the last couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, the weather here has been fairly mild and decent to have outdoor patios, and so many of them have taken advantage to take over parking lots, or we've extended parklets into the street, into the parking spaces in the street to allow them to put out tables and decking, and so we've tried to be as resourceful as we can to allow these folks a fighting chance to survive. Most of them have taken us up on that offer, but now it's a different ballgame, so getting folks back in the door in a socially distanced way, I think will help a long way in helping them get back on their feet and be successful moving forward.
Have you had a high rate of closures or any businesses that simply won't be able to come back even though we've now moved to Phase 3 in your part of the province?
Yeah, we haven't seen that yet, but the question, I think if we waited another month, that question will play itself out in due course. We just don't know yet. And so there may be some businesses that just aren't able to open their doors even though they're allowed to, but we haven't received news or word that that's been a big issue as of yet.
You had, I think, 11 cases announced over the weekend. How does that compare to where things have been for your part of the province?
Well, listen, this is actually good news, and we know one of the challenging factors in our region has been the temporary foreign workers, and so it's a complicated situation where you have about 8,000 people here from other countries spread across 175 farms. A lot of their living conditions are sort of the ideal vehicle for the spread of COVID-19. They live in bunk houses and bunk bed, share kitchen and washroom facilities, and so we've really done a lot of work, and thanks to Premier Ford, who sent a lot of resources down here to help us get over the hump. The federal government has come to the table as early as last week, indicating that they've got $60 million on the table to help address some of the challenges with the living conditions, which really help move the spread of this virus in a real way. And so we've seen it play out here, but we're getting our arms around it. And the goal here, of course, is we don't want to go backwards. Once we're in Stage 3, we don't want to see happen here what's happening south of the border. So everyone still needs to be cautious, take all the precautions, and make sure we're doing the work we need to do so that we can keep moving forward.
Okay, I want to talk about the border in just a second, but first I want to pick up on what you're saying about migrant workers in the agricultural sector. In the Windsor-Essex region, about 2,300 cases you've had in total. More than 1,100 of those were among agricultural workers, and of course we had the 2 tragic deaths of 2 migrant farm workers from Mexico. Given that there have been the extra resources that you outlined and you're now moving to Stage 3, are you confident that the agricultural sector in the region is inoculated now from outbreak?
No, in fact, I think everyone is right to be vigilant there to make sure that we're doing all we can to help support that group. And again, it's 8,000 workers across 175 farms. Some are undocumented, some are here. And I would say the vast majority, English is not the first language, and they may not even understand it very well. So trying to encourage them to get tested, to understand what it means, to try and tell them and educate them that even if you're COVID positive, we will find a place at government expense to help you self-isolate for 14 days, and you'll still get paid. trying to remove the financial disincentive for doing the right thing. It's still been a challenge. And so it's right to be vigilant here. The province has resources on the ground. We have our regional resources on the ground. And I don't think we can take our eye off this ball. It's just too complicated. And it's complicated even more by the fact that we probably have about 3,000 more folks who are coming into Canada to continue on with the program. So there's a lot of work here still to do, but the numbers are going in the right direction, which is a good sign that the message is getting out and people are heeding the advice about getting tested and keeping distance.
I want to, as promised, I want to talk about the border now. It's extended, the closure of the Canada-US border extended until the 21st of August. I don't think people expect it to open on the 21st. What is your sense, as the mayor of a major border city, about what should happen with the border? Should it stay closed? And what sort of impact is that having on the economy in Windsor?
Yeah, good question. And I think that the situation that's in place today is the right situation. I don't even see August 21st being a reasonable day to open the border. Right now, being home to the busiest border crossing between the United States and Canada, I can tell you that commercial traffic is still moving between the United States and Canada. And we have about 80% of pre-COVID commercial traffic that is back. And so that's a good sign. And of course, the essential workers can still cross, about 1,200 nurses and physicians and medical workers who cross from my region into Michigan each and every day. But when I see what's happening south of the border, I don't want to see that happen here. And so to the extent the federal government can keep a lock on the border and just allow the current situation to play out for a little while longer, I think that's the smart thing to do. But I say that, and I recognize in the same hand that, this causes a lot of pain for people in my community, because you can imagine, based on geography, the family type arrangements that exist where people marry others from the other side of the border, and you have grandparents who can't see their grandkids. So it's a very frustrating and trying situation for a lot of families. And you think of funerals and weddings and all of those things in play as well. It's a very complicated situation. It's a difficult situation for families to be separated. But if you look at it from a higher level, I think it's the right thing that the federal government's doing, and they should keep the border closed a while longer.
Okay, so we've heard from some experts here on this show, and other people at CBC News have spoken to them, saying that the border should stay closed until probably at least the end of the year. Would you support that?
Well, I would hate to go that far. Anything with COVID, it can change so quickly. I think it's right to look at what's happening south of the border and to be concerned about how fast they reopened and how cavalier some people were. Which saw huge spikes in numbers in states like Florida and Texas and Arizona and California and others. And we don't want that to happen here. I don't think anyone who's gone through 4 months of the work that they've gone through in distancing and washing hands and isolating, no one wants to go backwards, no one that I'm talking to. And so the extent that the border and the restrictions at the border are in place, to the extent that that helps the situation and allows us just to keep that virus away from us for a little while longer, I think it's the right thing to do. But I think it's right that they explore this and examine this month over month and make a decision based on the best data available at the time.
Okay, Mayor Dilkens, thanks so much for joining us, and good luck with Stage 3.
Thanks, David.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.